dime. It loves to feed, it loves my past. It's always taunting, but somehow out of grasp. Can you hear me? 'Cause I'm lost, and I may never come back again. And while my heart keeps holding on, I know I'll never be the same again. It talks to me, it holds my hand, it showers me with things I can't understand. It has no reason, it knows no time, it's constantly watching, so it's not left behind. Can you hear me? 'Cause I'm lost, and I may never come back again. And while my heart keeps holding on, I know I'll never be the same again. Can you hear me? 'Cause I'm lost, and I may never come back again. And while my heart keeps holding on, I know I'll never be the same again. You 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 know I'll never be the same again. Can you hear me? 'Cause I'm lost, and I may never come back again. And while my heart keeps holding on, I know I'll never be the same again. 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 I know I'll never be the same again.
What up, everyone? DJ Anubis here with you on the Military Radio Podcast with another edition of Global Unscripted. It's a segment I do on my channel where basically it's a free-for-all, talk about global events, politics, social, internet drama, whatever. And something that's been kind of got going around for the last 2 or 3 weeks is a lot of VTuber drama. Now, I spent some time on this. Like I went down the rabbit hole to try to get as much information as could just about the Vtuber community in terms of what they are, how they're attached to certain things like lolly avatars. Now, I'm going to say VTubing is interesting to me because I do find it cool, like the way that they put these little avatars together and how they animate what the person behind it is saying when they're speaking to their audiences. So it's a cool thing, but it seems to have like an attachment to some very dark stuff. Now, I don't have like a strong opinion one way or the other here, except when I understand what Lolicon is in terms of young animated looking children that are being sexualized by adults. I find that problematic. Will I go out and say these people are straight up PDFs? Personally, no. But it is problematic. And this is something I kind of touched on a little bit when we were talking about the whole Vosh thing a while back when he pulled up a picture of like a young girl licking horse dick or something. It was crazy stuff, right? It's problematic. For him, it was a lot worse because of his other things he said regarding like whether the age of consent should be this, and this. It's just very disturbing behavior. So whenever Lolicon gets brought up, it's immediately attached to VTubers and VTubers as well as people such as Vosh that are into that kind of anime stuff. The only anime I really watch myself is like Vampire Hunter D or Ninja Scrolls, stuff like more monster oriented type anime. So the whole kitty thing, I don't get it. I'm not sure why anyone would be attracted to even art of, I know one thing that Vosh was trying to do during his defense was, or maybe it was somebody else saying that the animated person was like actually a 4,000-year-old dragon, but they just had to be in this child form. But I'm like, That's not the point. It doesn't have to be, it doesn't matter if it's a dragon, it's what you're looking at that time that's a little bit disturbing. If you're getting sexual gratification from that, that's a problem. Now, Lolicons may see this video and get upset with me. I don't care. You can, but I'm free for anybody who wants to have civil discourse in my comments regarding this video, because it may blow up, it may not. Anybody that's got information on how they navigate the lolly world or navigate VTubing, like, I do find VTubers very interesting. I think they're kind of cool. Yes. I don't have attraction to them, but like, I find them very cool. And there are all sorts of them out there, a lot of them. So I have two topics today that I'm going to get into regarding VTuber drama on the web right now. And some opinions are going to have that people may not like, and some others, they may agree with. But first, I want to kind of give just like a quick rundown, a little bit of what lolly is. Some people aren't really aware. So I've got a couple of different things I'm going to show you. And before I get into my first topic, I'm going to kind of give a breakdown of what lolly is. So this is something I'm going to give some links to all the videos. And just forewarning, the videos I did choose, I did edit them down a little bit, just the stuff that I thought was more pertinent to the discussion today. But I will give you links to their channels, or at least to the videos in full length if you want to check them out for yourself. Also, this website, which is basically treatmyocd.com, had a little bit of something on lolly stuff, which I don't know why it appeared on that site, but it was a question that was asked. Excuse me. So I'm going to give you first a definition from that site, and then later I'm going to give you another screenshot of what's on the website, which I'll give you a link to the website as well. So basically, first up is the what is Lolicon? So the Lolicon genre emerged in Japan during the 1970s, inspired by the works of artists like Hideo Ozuma and Ken Akamatsu. It features sexually suggestive or explicit content depicting fictional, childlike characters, often in manga, anime, or related media. Its origins lie in a complex interplay of cultural, artistic, and social factors within Japan's broader manga and anime landscape. The term is Japanese contraction of Lolita complex, which warrants a little unpacking. Lolita is a nickname that Humbert, the middle-aged narrator in Vladimir Nabokov's 1955 novel Lolita, bestows upon a 12-year-old girl he becomes infatuated with. The critically acclaimed book explores themes of obsession, manipulation, and blurred lines between love and exploitation. Lolita Complex, written by American author Russell Trainer in 1966 and translated into Japanese in 1969, is a pop psychology book in which the author uses the term as shorthand to describe adult male attraction to underage girls. Shotacon is a related genre that features sexually suggestive depictions of young male characters. Like Lolicon, it's a contraction of Shotaro, or character in the 1956 manga comic Tetsutsun 28 Go and Complex, whatever the fuck. All of that issues we're about to discuss around Lolicon and can equally be applied to Shotacon. All right. Now, my first video I'm bringing you to is from a guy named Devil, DEV''L. And I kept out some more of his personal opinion on it, because his video in full, he really goes hard and he's very anti-Lolicon, which, is fine. Like, I kind of understand why he would feel that way. But he had some other points in the video that apply strictly to what Lolicon is and some of the negative effects about it. Then I'm going to show you a video clip that I made of Duncan Can't Die, who also kind of addresses some of the correlation between lolly and Japan and like their culture of schoolgirls and anime and stuff like that. So I'll show you those two, and then of course I'll go into what the therapist from Treat My OCD said about whether or not lolly can be attributed to PDFs. So let's go first into Devil's video. I had to cut these down a little bit, somewhere about 7 to 10 minutes long. If I need to stop it to explain something, I will. If I or if I just comment or whatever. So let's roll.
But before we delve too far deep into the subject matter of this video, it's important to answer the question of what is lolly. For those of you out there who haven't had your retinas tainted by this deplorable garbage, lolly is defined by multiple sources as a drawn or animated depiction of a prepubescent girl. The term itself apparently comes from the Russian novel Lolita, a book which involves a man in his 30s reciprocating sexual feelings with a 12-year-old girl. Lolly itself has a bunch of somewhat normal drawings of little girls, but a multitude of images have these young girls posing in very sexual and provocative positions, and the people who consume this content all have the same intentions. The people who like lolly aren't innocently fawning over these girls and talking about how nice and wholesome they look. These people are using these anime images as a way to sexually gratify themselves. This is what is referred to as a lolicon, a person who, by definition, has an attraction to these depictions of these young, prepubescent girls.
Now, the reason why I'm kind of talking about this part of it is because there's another topic I got later on where a VTuber who has like a young looking avatar was being accused of grooming and being a PDF. And because that person happens to be a femboy, which I didn't even go bother looking for the description or the definition of that. Like I've heard of femboy before, which is just a feminine boy who, I don't know, but it's irrelevant. The point is that the accusations appear to be false. And so, again, I do have other questions regarding that story. So when we get there, I'll talk about it. But a reason why I bring this up is because there is this close correlation between Lolicon and these VTubers that constantly gets brought up. Like this is something that I see all over the web a lot of times whenever these dramas appear, and it's always back to this stuff. So like whether there's a direct correlation in terms of whether or not people who are into this stuff are actually PDFs, I can't tell you. I don't know. What I can tell you is it is weird that there is always a constant correlation and connection between what's going on with this shit and VTubers and so on. So let's continue on.
But who is the intended audience of lolly? 80-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 10-year-olds? Well, according to the Lolita novel, it seems that the intended audience are meant to be depraved 30-year-old men. Now, the intended audience doesn't always accurately reflect who the real audience consists of, but I think it's safe to say that the audience who watches lolly are primarily adults. I have heard of quite a few adolescents who are lolicons, but in this case, we're talking about the majority here, and the majority are almost definitely and undeniably adults. Now, after hearing that, some of you might be thinking, wow, this is putrid. These people are practically drooling over drawings of little girls. I mean, this is sick. This is twisted. This is borderline pedophilic. Well, it is. The sexual attraction an adult has to prepubescent children is known as pedophilia, a mental disease that can be caused by factors such as a fuck up in your brain structure, or possibly a childhood trauma that you yourself have experienced. Whatever the reason may be, the intention is all the same. It's a sexual feeling you have towards a child below 13. I don't think there's any sort of argument you could make that would be able to differentiate the two. Yes, while one involves real children and the other involves drawn children, the principle is exactly the same. The audiences both consist of primarily adults. They both involve children as the primary focus. They both revolve around the sexualization of these children, and they both consist of the same dip fucks repeating the same terrible talking points. The only difference in this case that you could find is, once again, one is drawn, another is real. In order for a person to justify lolly as a fetish that causes no harm to children,
He often brings that up because a lot of times people who are into lolly and lolicon art often say, well, the girls are not real. But I think the argument on the other side of that, of course, is, well, it's irrelevant if they're real or not. The idea is you're still attracted to a young girl. So, and I understand this point of view. Like, I don't understand how anyone can get sexually charged to seeing young little girls, whether it's art or real. And I find that problematic. That's why it's banned in some states and even in some countries. You can't have this kind of stuff like on your computer or anything. Like, it's considered still like CP. So yeah, so like, again, like, I am curious for those that are into this kind of art, like, where is your stance on it? Are you somebody who does get sexually aroused by this stuff, or what is it about it that makes you into the art? Like, what is it exactly that draws you to Lolicon and Lolly?
Children, they would indirectly be justifying pedophilia as a fetish that causes no harm to children, as long as they don't act upon their kink in real life. So does that make it okay? No, of course not. However, while lolly porn may not be a federal crime, it is undeniably true that lolly porn is an animated form of child pornography. There's no reason why lolly porn and lolly in general should exist, whether it be for production or consumption. And the only reason it does is to fulfill the sick, twisted fantasy.
So yeah, that I didn't use all his, but like I said, I'm gonna have the entire video of his in the link description box below once this is posted. So if you want to watch his entire thing, you can. It's like a 15 or 20-minute video, I think. But I wanted just to kind of give you an idea, like where some people are stance. And now I'm going to show you a guy named Duncan Can't Die who actually reacted to that video at some point and took a lot of heat from Lolicon fans. And so he's addressing some of that as well, but he also starts making some points about how Japan is kind of tied into that type of culture.
To schoolgirls. There is a high demand for schoolgirls to work after school in maid cafes. There is a weird obsession in Japan with underage girls, and the root cause of it, in my opinion, is Lolicon. So now let's get into the meat and potatoes, all right? Let's get into the meat of this whole thing. We've had our appetizer. I've poisoned the well and good by mocking these guys. Let's talk about Lolly, and let's talk about why I think Lolicon is so messed up. When it comes to child pornography, there are two problems with child pornography, right? There is the fact an actual child was abused, and there is the fact that somebody is getting sexual gratification from looking at the child pornography. The fact that somebody is getting sexual gratification from that is abnormal, and it is wrong, right? So yes, when you are talking about Lolicon, you remove one aspect of that, which is an actual child getting hurt. And that is great. But what you also do is allow the normalization of the sexualization of children and childlike characteristics. Yeah, I'm ready for you, people with your 9,000-year-old vampire waifu who looks 8 and talks about sucking dick, all right? We know what it is. It's an excuse. It's the legal lolly excuse. And it doesn't fly. It really doesn't. It doesn't track.
Yeah, again, like from that point of view, I totally understand why he says that. And like, I get it. Like, it makes sense. Like, you often see people who defend Lolicon. They're saying you don't understand the character, but the reality is, it doesn't matter if it's an 8-year-old. Like, so for instance, let's take a look at the new movie Abigail. It's a young girl who's a vampire, but she's a very old vampire. There's no way that anyone can justify to me, a man, like an older man, cannot justify to me watching that movie and saying, I'd love to fuck that young little 12-year-old or whatever age she was, because she's an ancient vampire. No, it doesn't fly, dude. It does not fly. So it's the same thing. Like, you're looking at kiddie porn, basically a kid in art form, and you're getting sexually gratification from it. If you're condoning a young girl in art form, talk about sucking dick as he just described. I don't even know if it exists like that, but the example he gave, and you're justifying that's to me is PDF, straight up. It means you have an unhealthy viewpoint about young kids and sex. Like, it's just not cool, not kosher
at all. So why do I think it's so gross to find sexual gratification or sexual attraction to childlike characters? Because they look like children, and being attracted to children is gross?
Okay, so yeah, there you go. So yeah, again, like, obviously that's 2 point of views that are going all in on like how bad it is. Now, like I said, I went down a rabbit hole a little bit with this. I didn't do as much research as I wanted to. Because some of this stuff's disturbing already. So like I don't know how far down the rabbit hole I want to go. But like I said, this treat my OCD. Somebody asked a question about if I like Lolicon, does that mean that I'm a pedophile? That's what they were asking. This person who runs Treat My OCD is like a therapist. So I showed you the definition from the website earlier about Lolly. Well, they had another, they broke down like different things regarding OCD, which I don't know how that really fits in with the whole Lolly thing, but people can read. Once I put the link up, you can go read the site. But this person did put up an explanation of how they saw Lolly versus whether or not somebody would be a PDF because of it. So in this case, fictional characters and real life concerns. One of the complexities surrounding Lolicon is the blurred line between fictional characters and the real world context. In cosplay and anime art communities, enthusiasts often bring characters to life, blurring the distinction between fantasy and reality. There are all sorts of widespread conversations about exaggerated or unrealistic art styles, the relationship between kinks or fetishes in real life, and even the relevance of story or lore to the ways certain characters are depicted. All these questions can be triggering experiences for people dealing with ego, dystonic thoughts, and distressing doubts about themselves. It's vital to recognize that indulging in these fantasies does not signify criminal intent, even when confronted with real people embodying fictional characters such as cosplayers. Now, here's the thing, before I go on. Cosplaying, you can have like a 25-year-old girl dressing up as a young lolly girl, right? Now, if you see that 25-year-old girl is sexy, it's because she's a mature adult. But let's take, let's just say a 13-year-old girl dressing up as a lolly. And you're the same male looking at that 25-year-old. Well, now you're looking at a 12-year-old and you're still getting sexually aroused. That's a problem. So cosplaying to me is a bit different depending on the age of the person doing the cosplaying. To me, it's not the same as the art itself. So you're looking at art that's clearly childlike. It's not a 25-year-old or older looking woman. There's art out there that I've seen, that very nice art. In fact, I use some of that art on some of my top 5 albums of the week, where I just use some of the AI stuff. But it's not lolly. Like, that's my point, is that you're looking at older women in art, and that's fine. It's when you start going down that age group to the lolly and the younger girls or boys. In some cases, they call them shotacons, like they said earlier. That's when it starts becoming very much of a big issue. So appreciating art is fine. Now, there are some Lolicon people that say that they just appreciate the artwork, and that might be true, very much true. So continue on. That said, addressing the potential legal implications of Lolicon is important. In some places, possessing or distributing explicit material involving even fictional minors may be considered illegal. Even though the characters are not real, some legal systems consider the creation, possession, or distribution of such related material to be harmful or exploitive. Now, I will say there was something that happened a while back, and I think the guy's name was Shadman, and he was a lolly creator or created art in that manner. And he went and Keemstar, if anyone's familiar with that guy at all, he had like a beef with Keemstar. And so what he did was he took he used a picture from Keemstar's daughter, which was young, and drew a lolly, kind of like the heir parent of his daughter through lolly, doing sexual activity. Now, from Shadman's point of view, he's probably doing it just to piss off Keemstar and just to be like a dick. But somebody probably got sexual gratification from that. Not only that, but you were using his daughter in a very negative way. And so that was exploitive and harmful. And that's some of the shit that people have a problem with too. That's why Shadman takes a lot of shit for that. Continue on. So outside of the context of mental health, if Lolicon or Shotacon is something you like to engage in any way, it's worth looking into the laws where you live. Now, personally, laws are the least of your worries there. I think if you're engaging into that stuff sexually and all that, I think your mental health is more important than find out why you like that stuff in that way. In discussing Lolicon, it's imperative to challenge stigmas and misconceptions surrounding mental health. Seeking help for such concerns is not indicative of character flaws, but rather a testament to one's courage and commitment to one's own well-being. And if you think you may benefit from seeking help, please know that effective empathetic care is available. So I think this person was just kind of dancing around a little bit in terms of not trying to offend people who are into Lolly, but like at the same time, like the cosplay is so much different than the actual art. Like it's way different because a lot of the people that I've seen do cosplay are generally like mature women, at least in their late teens, early 20s. So I don't really see like if it was like younger girls under like very teenage girls dressing up in Lolly and like these costumes, and there's older men like salivating over them, that's a problem. That's a big problem. All right, so this all leads to my first topic, which is there's this VTuber war currently going on. It's been going on for a little while between a VTuber called Taiga, which is the femboy I was talking about earlier, and Nuxanor, who's another VTuber who is more of a drama grifter in sorts. He talks about gaming and just drama topics, politics and stuff. Seems to be a more conservative leaning guy. Fair warning, I've seen some of Nuxanor's material and I've liked him on some of his stuff. So like some stuff I agree with him on and some stuff I don't. He seemed like a kind of like a cool character kind of guy that I saw that, you know, in passing. I watch some of his stuff because he's tied into other YouTubers. I often will watch videos like Chud Logic or Geeks and Gamers, Mutahar, guys like that. And so I just seen him in passing. So Taiga I had never really heard of before. And anyway, Taiga at some point, in fact, like I'll show you this first video by Royalty is Here. Again, it's edited to a certain point just because I didn't want to spend like a whole lot of time on these videos. It would take up a lot of time. But this first video basically says something like the degenerate femboy or something like that. So he's going to break down sort of what happened between Nuxanor and Taiga in terms of how it came about that Taiga got this alleged accusation that he was grooming an FDF. And right now, the big story with Taiga is that he's lost his monetization with his YouTube channel. Like they're getting taken down. His Twitter account's gone. It's kind of a cross between... Well, I'll let the video explain first and then I'll stop it if I need be. But yeah, let's get into it.
Talking about it again. By it, I mean to address the elephant in the room, femboys. You know, maybe we talk about femboys a bit too much on this channel, but I guarantee some of you watching those femboy videos have a glisten in your eye because you're so in love with them. You sicko. But there's nothing wrong with liking a person with feminine qualities and all the attributes of a girl, just with a side salad of cock and balls. Not my cup of tea, but you do you. I'll judge you from afar. But today we're going to be talking about one femboy in particular who recently got banned off YouTube, had thousands donated to them, acquired a stalker that followed them all the way to their hometown, had a plethora of allegations rallied up against them, so much so they ended up on their favourite YouTuber's radar for a matter of seconds, only to be met with somewhat distaste, as said allegations seem to skewer their favourite YouTuber's opinion on them, albeit for a few seconds of knowing who they are. And it gets even worse when you know their favourite YouTuber was moist critical. Oh.
And this is playing a big part because I was going to bring that to us later. I might still talk about it later because there's another video with Taiga talking about some things that I'll get into. But so when he's going to get into here where Nux was guesting with Moist Critical. Moist Critical has like over 1 million subscribers and followers. Nux, I don't know what he has. It's probably in the like 6-digit range, I think. Now, all the shit that's going down, like people are saying that, Nux isn't taking enough heat on this, but even though I see videos all over the place giving Nux a hard time about this, which to some degree he deserves, right? Because he was wrong. There apparently was an independent investigation done on Taiga, which found no wrongdoing. But the thing that I wanted to bring to attention real quick is right now it seems like Taiga and anybody else that's been calling out Nuxanor aren't calling out Charlie, who's Moist Critical. Like, they're not calling him out for the same shit because he was saying some stuff about at the same time. And so it got me wondering why Taiga and everybody's okay with challenging Nux, who's a bit of a smaller streamer compared to Moist, and why they're not holding Charlie accountable as well. Now, Charlie may have apologized. I don't know. But Nux apologized, even though people are saying he's being disingenuous. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. I don't know. What I will say is, are they not going after Charlie because he's that much of a bigger streamer and they're just worried that it's going to backfire on them heavily? Is Nuxanor an easier target in this case? So I don't know. Like, to me, it's kind of cowardly to, when you have two guys that did the same thing and called you out, called you a PDF, whatever, and then you only go after one of them. Something doesn't sound right, but there's some other issues I got with the Taiga case I'm going to talk about later.
Charlie. And today we're going to be talking about the femboy VTuber Bungo Taiga.
How fucking degenerate do you have to be to, like, unironically, like, to a femdog VTuber on Twitch? You know what I mean? Like, you gotta be pretty, like...
Someone you may know from the clips shared online, from their streams on platforms such as YouTube, as there are quite a lot of them, many somewhat phallic in nature. But that's just the internet at this point, and most online femboys for some reason.
Dog. I wanna be a dog. Dog. Because I do make good dog noises.
Kurt Cobain POV.
Because there is an incentive to this behaviour. Although some of them could genuinely have this personality, you can't say it doesn't generate a lot of money. And if you hold any malice towards them for this, probably hate more on the horn dogs in the chat giving them money. Hate the game, not the alt-pink femboy playing it. But just to be discriminatory, all femboy VTubers basically are the same, except their differing avatar and tone of voice.
I smell it. Boy smell. I smell a boy. What is a boy thing here? Oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? They're...
I'm sorry, someone had to say it.
Yeah, I don't understand all that stuff either, to be honest. It's really weird sometimes.
But anyway, instead of me being an encyclopedia on femboys, Bungo Taiga. They get somewhat of a poor reputation, not all of it valid, and most of it tangled in misinformation. However, the biggest question, if you don't know who they are, is who is Bungo Taiga? Well, Bungo Taiga started streaming back on the 27th of April 2020, the peak of the coronavirus lockdown, where many of us were stuck inside, left to confront our internal demons, or just play numerous games of Valorant, CSGO, and maybe VR chat, to fill the void that was human communication and contact. Or do some soul searching and discover you like wearing thigh highs because they're warm and totally not because you like feminine things. They're just programming socks, guys, which is the first phase of being a femboy. However, Taiga garnered attention through their explicit and borderline NSFW personality. This attention made them known to YouTube clippers, who are the bottom feeders of YouTube, that is a compliment, don't worry, who most of the time clip anything remotely entertaining and then re-upload it to YouTube.
Nice. Do it, clap.
Who within the ecosystem of said platforms like YouTube actually significantly benefit creators whilst also benefiting themselves, which basically is a form of mutualism, but Taiga was mainly targeted by the femboy clippers. Yes, they exist. Just like Linux, there are many flavours of clippers, and if you remotely understood that reference, you're definitely a femboy. But Taiga didn't entirely benefit from this interaction, as they were never significantly credited, leading them to start their own YouTube channel and clip their own streams. A YouTube channel which recently was removed off of YouTube due to sexually explicit content and possibly people mass reporting them. Because somewhat due to their explicit content, they...
And that's going to be brought up in another video I'm going to show you after this one, where a lot of the blame on Nuxanor is that it's his fault that Taiga's losing his channels and his Twitter account and Twitch accounts or whatever. But if you're posting stuff that breaks the TOS of YouTube, sexually explicit material, doesn't matter what it is, if you know that it's breaking TOS and they ban you and they remove your channel, that's got nothing to do with Nuxanor. Like, you can say, well, it's just a bunch of people mass report me. Well, the reality is it doesn't matter. If you're doing wrong, you're doing wrong. Now, there's people out there that says, well, but this channel's doing the same thing. The thing is, life isn't fair. Okay? It's not. And I'll agree with you. Twitch, YouTube, all of them, the platforms, they are very inconsistent with how they handle discipline, bans, suspensions, whatever. I've seen Sniper Wolf dock somebody and not have a fucking thing done. Okay? But it is what it is. You have to deal with it and roll on. If somebody's doing stuff that's breaking TOS on YouTube, you can't, doesn't mean you get to do it just because they're doing it. Because, and a great example of this, and I'm going to tell this story. When I was about 19, I was still living in Colorado. And one late night, I was driving up to Everest or Evergreen. I was up in the mountains, so I was passing through Boulder. And real late at night, it's been like after midnight, and so I'm behind this car, and it's in the winter time. It's cold. I'm trying to get to point A to point B. Like, we're driving from down by near Denver, and we're driving up through. So it's like an hour drive. So I'm already tired. And as we're going through Boulder, there's no traffic. The streets are just cleared and all that, but you have like 2 yellow blinking lights and then a red one. And not even paying attention, because I'm behind this other car. In a car, we go through the yellows, and then he goes through the red, and I go through the red. Not realizing at the time I should have stopped at the red. Now, a cop pulls me over. The cop says, "Do you know why I pulled you over?" I said, "Not really, because I was tired." He's like, "Well, you ran through that red light that blinking red light. You're supposed to stop. It's like a 4-way." I was like, "Well, the car in front of me ran through." He's like, "Yeah, I would have pulled them over, but you did it too. So you were the next one in line. I just got you first." So, needless to say, I was at fault. And that's the thing. Like, even in the case of Tyga, if you're doing shit and you're allowing shit on your streams or in your feed on your channel that is against TOS, and you know it is, you're at fault. It doesn't matter who's reporting it, how many people report it. I know there's some people that are like, the mass reporting is coming from somebody who has like an axe to grind with you. So that's even worse. You don't want that content on your feed. Okay. You do not want that on your feed. And you can't use the excuse, well, these people are doing it too. You can report them and they'll probably get taken down. But the reality is that if you know it's wrong, don't do it. Don't do it because someone else is doing it. You have to be smarter than that. So in that case, if Tyga's being taken down or banned from YouTube for sexual content, that's Tyga's fault. That's not anybody but his own fucking fault.
They also acquired a lot of stalkers which had a big hand in the downfall of their reputation, but they were a big financial benefit, as one of them was supposedly a millionaire, donating $250K.
Life is my creation, is my best friend. Imagination is my defense.
Good stream, everybody. Had a lot of fun.
Now, I don't care how masculine you are, you're probably not anyway. A twig probably has more testosterone than you do, but 250K is 250K. If I knew I was about to get that money, the thigh highs would go on almost immediately. Don't lie to me, you'd do the same. But even with the financial support, this would become a problem for Tyga, because this person had a heavy attraction to Tyga, to say the least.
And that financial support, I'm going to get to that later too.
And admirably, even with the prospect of money, Tyga shut down all of their advances. But before doing that, did hold a line of communication with them for a while. But this eventually fell apart when Tyga was obviously not interested in their sexual advances towards them. And this millionaire was not happy about that, going all the way to their hometown in Canada and filing police reports against them, along with a bunch of homophobia and transphobia. This lasted for around 6 months and was absolute hell for them. But fortunately, when that cleared up, Tyga just couldn't get a break.
My dick is fat.
Previous mods of their Twitch stream and Discord created a document basically saying they were abusive, very much into shota and lollies, which are like children in anime, and blatant transphobia and homophobia. And let's not forget grooming. It just feels like every crime a YouTuber can commit is always grooming. Like, do something cool like tax evasion, like, come on. These accusations would be posted online and would reach the ears of a popular YouTuber called Nux Taku, a fellow VTuber who was on a podcast with Moist Critical, was not informed on the whole situation, but yet still made an offhand comment.
Left to teetering money.
Is this HoloLive?
No, Taiga is an indie streamer who, I don't know the whole story, but Taiga was outed to be a pimp.
Now he prefaces it by saying, I don't know the whole story, but he still says it anyway. He doesn't even add allegedly anywhere. Basically, admitting you don't know the full context yet still making the comment is the equivalent of being blindfolded and throwing dog feces at people.
Not really. Not really. I disagree with that take big time. He says, I don't know the whole story, but he was apparently outed as a PDF. That's what it was getting to. Now, recently, Nexanor has come out and said that he shouldn't have said it. And even when he's been talking about it in some other videos that I've seen, he now puts in allegedly. But the reality is, like, a lot of people want to hold his feet to the fire. But from what I understand, both Nux and Moist Critical were both kind of like going all in on Taiga saying that he was a PDF. Yet for some reason, Nux seems to be the only one that people are holding accountable for this.
And Nux himself hasn't had the best reputation when it comes to similar events, because quote unquote, he just believes what his friends tell him, and it is a bad habit of his.
Like, I was in a video.
So that is Nuxanor, who is at the center of a lot of the hate and stuff coming his way, because like I said, there's, and this is again, Rev, who I will show you later, is talking about the other topic that I'm going to be bringing. He's another VTuber. I like Rev's stuff. He has a lot of times that he shows up on Asmongold, who I follow, in terms of like reaction videos and stuff. So Rev seems like a pretty cool guy, but he did a video on this as well, and I think he has like an axe to grind with Nuxanor a lot too. But I you know, it just blows my mind though that like a lot of people are. It's okay to go after a smaller streamer, and I know Nux isn't super small. He gets monetized and he's big enough, but he's not as big as Moist Critical, and yet no one's really putting Charlie's feet to the fire with this. And I like Charlie. I like a lot of his content. But again, like, both of them were there when this happened. Both of them said some things, apparently, that made Taiga look bad. And apparently, as they mentioned in the video, Moist is one of Taiga's idols, I guess. So are you just going to give him a pass because he happens to be your idol? Like, Nux might have a worse reputation because he gets more into the thick of the drama, but I don't know. I can't say one way or the other if Nux is, you know, sorry or not sorry. I can't say. I don't know the guy. I don't really know him. I do know that Nux likes to double down, and most people do whenever they're wrong about something. But like, if you go to anybody on YouTube, no one is an angel. Nobody. And I could say that about Rev. I could say that about Taiga. I can say about anybody. Like, it doesn't have to be just a VTuber. It can be anybody. Nobody is innocent in terms of being wrong about something. But at this stage, like, apparently this shit that first went down happened like 2 to 3 years ago with the allegations. And according to Rev, there was an independent person that came out because they wanted to catch Taiga actually being a PDF. That was their goal, but they found nothing. But my question to Rev and them is like, how do we know? Because some people were saying that the investigation was hired by Taiga, but how do we know if it was or wasn't? Like, Nobody can prove that I know of. Like, how are you going to prove it? Just because Tyga says no, it wasn't, you're going to take the word? Like, I mean, maybe it was. But for every person that says, well, Nux was wrong, and this is why, but we don't even really know if that's the truth over there either. We have no fucking clue. I don't want to throw Tyga into the fire. I don't know him. Like, I don't. But one of my problems here is he's got money. He claims, he'll claim in this video, that next one I'll show you, that he's having a hard time making ends meet. Well, you had a lot of money, so where did it all go? And why not sue for defamation? Dude, if your shit's getting canceled, that is your livelihood. That is your brand. Tyga looks like, from what I can tell, put a lot of work into that brand, right? So why aren't you suing for defamation? Because you have a case. If that investigation is legit, you have a case. And there's plenty of lawyers you can get that will take that case. And if you have an open and shut case, you will win. And if you go against Charlie too, who has a lot of money, you know he does, you have a fucking case. Now, you're going to get a lot of hate from his fans and probably Nux's fans, sure. But are you going to cower and just allow them to bully you into oblivion? If you're really innocent of all that, you have a case. And I would suggest do the Johnny Depp thing. Clear your fucking name. If anything, clear your fucking name. That's important, because if you're going to try to rebrand yourself or whatever, come back. If you're not coming after Charlie, there's a reason why. And you can't argue the money thing. You can't, because this is your livelihood. The accusations, if you're blaming Nux for everything that's happened and all this shit that came down, it definitely damaged your brand. That's a loss of finances due to this shit. You have a case. So not doing anything is not a good look. And it tells me either you're just too scared to do it, or there's shit that is going on that's true about it and you don't want it to come out. That's the only two possibilities, because if you are innocent of all that shit that they've been saying, there's no way you're going to lose in a court of law. Not a way you're going to lose at all. But if there's any truth to any of that shit that you were accused of, you wouldn't want it to come out. And so I have I'm one of those people, I go down the middle, man. I'm skeptical. I look at everything objectively and logically. And shit doesn't add up in terms of why you're not suing for defamation, because you have a case. A huge one. No fucking way that if I had a brand like yours, like, I'm a small channel, I don't get monetized, but if I had this big channel that I built and it was my livelihood and somebody's making false accusations, I don't care if I don't have a lot of money or not. I'm coming after your ass, and I will sue you, and I will take everything you have. I don't care if it's just your fucking house. I will make you a fucking homeless motherfucker. I do not play with that kind of shit. You do not get away with that shit. But not doing anything at all raises my eyebrows that something else is being hidden. Just gonna leave it at that. So in the next video, Tyga's actually talking a little bit about losing his channels and how sad he is. Apparently he had a few months ago maybe tried to take his life, so he was offline for a little bit, I guess, which is unfortunate. You don't ever want to get to that point, which, again, this shit is like ruined your life. If it's false, you need to fucking fight to get it back. Take it from me. Fight. Come back. Be a tiger. Come back and fight. Take that shit back. This video is from I don't know anything about him, but I love the name Static Tokyo. That's a fucking cool ass name. But this is his. There's a couple of points in the video I'll stop because I didn't mark them earlier when I was checking it out. But yeah.
If anyone's wondering what happened, my Twitter account got suspended. My YouTube got terminated. I've lost my Discord server once before. Lost my TikTok that had 100K. I'm just kind of running out of options here.
Who's Static Tokyo again?
Alright, listen. Whether you hate or love this person, what is going on is crazy. And in the grand scheme of things, in content creation at least, this is a very scary thing if nothing is done. Now, Taiga is a person some people have personally asked me to cover. And after doing a little bit of digging, I can see why. For those that somehow doesn't know, Taiga is a VTuber of the femboy variety.
You gotta believe me. Oh, please, please believe me.
That has been around for some time now and has been in a lot of deep shit in the past. The biggest one being the huge lies on their name. I won't go super in depth, but basically, Taiga was accused of being a PDF file. What? But before you make assumptions, please look into it more. I recommend to go watch this video by Royalty is Here because he covers it more than I do. But in basic caveman terms, Taiga had multiple stalkers. One of them being a nigga with a lot of money, the other two being old mods. These three really wanted to be seen, which is why two of them were mods in the first place. But since Taiga wasn't with that shit, Rowdy obviously didn't reciprocate. And in stalker fashion, they got mad. Like, really fucking mad. They whipped up the craziest lie possible to tarnish Taiga's reputation. They went as far as to cherry pick certain bits of conversations and information to use as proof.
Is this nigga serious or what?
And a bunch of other shit. And at the time, and apparently even now, because some people are now realizing that the claims were false,
type shit.
Really hit Taiga's reputation. To the point even people that didn't fully know the situation were just saying stuff.
No, Taiga is an indie streamer who, I don't know the whole story, but Taiga was outed to be a
I don't know the whole story, but
But a private investigator does go and clear Taiga of these rumors, but still, shit was already said.
Let's be fair, okay? Again, I'm going back to people are so mad that he said he doesn't know the whole story. Well, people comment on not so whole stories all the time. Now, I don't know if Nux and other videos straight up called him a PDF. Like, I don't know if that's something he had done. Maybe that's more of what's pissing people off. But in that video that they keep using, it's okay to have an opinion on something, a rumor you've heard. I don't care what anybody says. It's okay to have an opinion on that. Now, I don't know how close he is with the people that told him, but if someone comes out and says, yeah, so-and-so shot his girlfriend or something, and it's somebody I know, but I don't know the entire story, but I start talking about it. Well, it doesn't necessarily mean that it happened, or it doesn't necessarily mean that it's proof, but it doesn't mean I can't talk about it. And so obviously, the more information that comes out, we see this with the news all the time. Like, no one cries about the fucking mainstream media doing this shit all the time, right? You know, I do, but no one else does. They all let that shit pass. They believe that shit like drinking candy and shit like that. So, you know, I'm not sitting here trying to put up a full wall for Nux, but I just think that it's nitpicky about him saying that he doesn't know the whole story, but this is what I heard. And so that's what you're grasping onto. That's what you're holding him to the fire for. So either there's a lot more to it, because I've said I've never seen all of Nux's videos on a daily basis or anything. So for those in the comments, please show me some other areas where he said a lot more regarding this in terms of straight up calling Taiga a PDF or continuing to do that. Again, Nux has come out in recent videos and kind of danced around like, you know, it wasn't really me, not what I'm used to doing, calling him, you know, alleging this, and this. That's just, you can argue that's just speak to try to damage, to repair the damage that's been done to his reputation. So people saying that it's not genuine, I could probably agree with that because, at the same time, I'd be like, look, I never straight up called them a PDF. I said, this is what I heard. That's what I heard. But, there might be more to it. I don't know.
People just blindly agreed anyway. Basically, what the three stalkers are saying was obviously bullshit. But till this day, people still don't fuck with Tyga. I don't personally have an opinion on him as an individual, but with all that out the way, Tyga as of right now has lost basically.
Let's also real quick point to stalker stuff. So whenever someone's stalking you, that's a crime. So has Tyga gone and like pressed charges against these people? Because the evidence is online, dude. It doesn't go away. It's all there. So that person that supposedly did the investigation, I'm sure they came across this stuff if that's what's clearing Tyga's name. So again, why are the authorities not involved? Why is there no subpoena or court a charge brought against Nux and Moist Critical for defamation? Because I can tell you this, Moist has a larger span of reach on his videos than Nux does. So again, why is one guy only being held to the accountable to the fire? I don't know.
Everything. Due to a harasser and stalker mass reporting Tyga on YouTube, which ended up getting taken down for breaking the sexual and nudity policy, that's what he was reported for, and their Twitter, which also got taken down. And for those that may not understand the gravity of the situation, their YouTube had close to 200K according to Social Blade. And when you look on Social Blade, yes, I'm aware they aren't always accurate with the data. They have Tyga under music here. Hell, they have my channel under gaming. But you can see what could be potential losses. And Tyga already said that they were.
Yeah, I gotta go back to that real quick because.
But you can see what could be.
I don't even know how these numbers work. I'll tell you this. Sure, he's probably losing money, but if he blew through that money, that's his own fault. Like, without a doubt. Like he says that he can't make ends meet, but I can tell you right now he's making more than I do on a weekly basis, even now probably. So, or was, because now his sites are being taken down. But I don't know, man. You got to be smarter with your money, no matter what. But you still have a case. Period.
Potential losses. And Tyga already said that they were barely making ends meet with the Twitter and the YouTube anyway.
It's over. I kind of need it.
How is that possible, dude? 250 grand would last you a long time unless you are living beyond your means. Nobody can argue that you're living paycheck to paycheck when you get a donation of 250 grand. I would love a donation of 250K. That would be sick. That would help my life so much. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, I can't buy into that.
Did my YouTube and Twitter. Like I was barely, making ends meet with the YouTube and Twitter, and now they're both gone. And no one cares what I do.
That's also not true, because if you go up on the YouTube right now, there's countless videos people covering this. There's countless videos of reporting this. There's countless videos of people calling Nux out, the hypocrisy, the whole nine. So it's people care. The one thing I will say about this, what is the end game for people that are so mad at Nuxanor about all this, right? What is your end game? What do you want from it? What do you want to come of it? Do you want Nuxanor banned? Do you want him deplatformed? What is it like, Rev? Anybody who watches this, what is your end game with Nux? I mean, the dude probably can come out and say sorry every other fucking video, but it's not going to make everyone happy. So, like, I don't think that's really going to solve the problem. If the guy made a mistake, then he made a mistake. Again, you'd be throwing rocks at glass houses out here because I know nobody's perfect. But again, this kind of falls back on Tyga. Like, if you have a case of defamation where it hurts your brand, you can show losses. This guy's showing you you're having losses with your income. You have a fucking case, bring it. You're going to get hate either way. You might as well as like fight. Find your zen, get the fucking tiger out, Tyga, and fight. This is your life. This is your brand. But I have to say, the fact that you may or may, I can't say you're not doing anything because I don't really know you, but if you're not going to do that, if you're not going to fight, there's something else going on and there's something doesn't add up. It's not just a financial thing. You can find ways around finances all the time. And any lawyer that thinks you have an open and shut case will get money. Like, this is what you're fighting for. You're not just fighting for clearing your name. You can bring a civil suit and get money from both those bozos. I like Charlie and I like both of them on some level, but if you feel like they ruined your brand and ruined your life, because let's face it, Charlie, whether he said anything or not regarding if you're a PDF, he allowed it on his stream. Okay? He allowed it on the stream. So he's somewhat culpable of allowing that to be aired. If he didn't call Nux out on that right away, which I never saw the full video from it, but if he didn't say like, hey, hold on, man, you can't say that, you know, we don't know. If he allows it to play out like that, he's just as culpable. So don't just come after Nux for it. You got to go after Charlie too. And he's got a lot more money. Trust me. This is about saving your fucking brand. This is saving your livelihood. If you really have no money from all the donations and shit that you got and the payments, fight. There's no other way around it. You got to fight.
The timing of this even worse is Tyga has or is paying for a new model, but it's really hard to get eyeballs on it when you literally have nowhere substantial to advertise it. Tyga still has his Discord and Twitch, hopefully, if this statement doesn't age bad, but discoverability on Twitch is dog shit, and discoverability on Discord literally doesn't exist. So Brody is in a situation where he has lost a portion of his income, which is YouTube, whilst also spending a large sum of money on a new model, while also being unable to promote said model. Now, you're probably...
All right, but that's the problem now. If he's spending all his money on a new model, that's a bad move. You have to go recoup what you lost. It's no good if he's going to go get a new model and then try to go back out into the internet sphere, the space. Because what's going to happen is once they figure out who he is, which I don't know if he's going to change his name or, you know, rebrand, but the people who find it out, the stalkers, if he hasn't taken care of them either through law enforcement, they're just going to do the same thing. You're fucked. Clearing your name is the biggest step you can make. And part of that process is taking down the people that you feel like ruined your brand. Not just the stalkers, but if you feel like Nux and Moist are part of that issue that collaborated and ruined you, spending your money right now on rebranding it's going to fail. Like, you're not going to be able to do it. We saw Keffels try to redo herself, reinvent herself after all the shit that went on with her, and she can't do it. People are not going to let it go with her. And until you've cleared your name, whether you think it's important or not, nobody's going to let it go. That anybody that has doubts about you are not going to let it go. And right now, it seems to be a lot of people.
Thinking, damn, that's fucked up. Who's doing it? Well, the person that is allegedly doing all of this, we will call this cuck Vintage, I'm saying allegedly to be safe, but this nigga literally gave proof that he was abusing the report system and mass reporting Taiga. The gumption on this guy. Now, apparently the reason this person was...
Oh, also, yeah, that guy, I did follow up on that guy that was promoting, even though I like Jocko Pastorius the bassist, who's amazing, but the guy was bragging that he was false reporting Taiga's channel. Now, two things with that. I pointed to it earlier that, you know, they said the reason that Taiga was taken down because of sexually explicit material on his channel, which would be breaking TOS. That's Taiga's fault. You don't put that shit up. I told you. Just because other people are getting away with it doesn't mean you will. However, the person that was false reporting, I know recently that either Asmon or Rev have covered a video where someone was doing something similar and they got banned. I followed up and checked on that dude's Twitter and YouTube channels. Now, YouTube, he still has stuff, but it's like a year old, so he's not really doing anything on it, I don't think. His Twitter page is gone. They've removed him. So he clearly got zapped. So the shit that he was doing to other people like Taiga, he's now reaping what he sowed with that. So from what I can tell, he's gone. Bye-bye.
Doing this to Taiga is the same as Taiga's previous harassers / stalkers, which is attention. At least that's what it seems like right now. This is a screenshot of a Discord message on Taiga's sister's Twitter account being circulated, and people are assuming that it's the vintage guy. I don't know if this is confirmed because the name is blinked out, but that's the assumption many are coming to, probably because Brody has Fender and bass in the name, and the message is pertaining to jazz.
You like jazz?
But then again, it also seems like they aren't only going after Taiga. And I know I've been doing my usual funny, what some people call ADHD editing style or whatever this whole time. Insert metal pipe here. Thank you.
I feel your
This
pain,
situation
my
is
friend.
majorly fucked up. And the sad reality of it all is, like Taiga said,
No one will even talk about it. It'll be
They're talking
relevant
about
for
it.
like a week. If anybody even decides to make a post about it.
Fuck, I'm talking about it. I'm not even in the know. Like, I'm not that deep in this shit, but I hate to reiterate, but you just, dude, Tiger, you need to fight. If you're really innocent of everything they've accused you of or alleged, fight. Just do it. This, again, this is your life. This is your brand. You've clearly put a lot of effort into building that brand. And, you know, people who follow you are entertained by what you do. So, like, not doing anything and then trying to rebrand yourself or do something different, like, that's not going to solve your problem. You have to cut the head off of this snake and deal with the problem head on. That's the best advice I can give you. I don't know how you're going to do it. I don't know. I do know it could be a bit of a problem. I meant to bring this up. Depending on where you're located. So if you're out of a different country, if Nux is in a different country, I know Charlie's here in America with me. If you're all in the same country, you can do it. Now, I don't know if Nux and you are in America, not my business, but if so, take him to court. Just got to do it. Doesn't matter if Charlie's your idol or not. He's tied in with how you fell because the reach is so big with his videos. It's I hate to say it's business, but it is business. Like, this is your brand. You need to get it repaired, your reputation, and there's no reason why you should have to rebrand and restart over, especially if it's not going to guarantee you success like you had before. So, and there's going to be people still coming at you. So the more you can go and get yourself cleared, get some financial gain back somehow, that's what you need to do. Like, I can't stress it enough. You have to do that.
And then everybody will move on.
for example, when this video is over, most of the people watching will probably go, damn, that's crazy. And then go on with their day. They just fuck up. I'm probably...
Well, that's how it is, though. Like, You can't be mad. People we're I have ADHD, but as a society, we have ADHD. We do it all the time. We move on to the next topic. That's some people will grift something for a while, but for me, I don't like to spend a lot of time on the same issue because I get kind of bored talking about the same shit all the time. Now, if for whatever reason someone sees this and they start talking about it, then maybe I'll come back if I have to clarify some things, or if I have to, even if I have to interview Tyga. Like, if Tyga wants to have a word, reach out to me. I will interview you and we can go through this shit. And I would love to talk to you about it. Like, certainly. Like, I've never talked to a VTuber, but I'm more than willing to hear your side of things, certainly. And I'm open. I do interviews. I interview bands, directors, musicians, actors, whatever, YouTube content creators. I've done a lot of interviews with some of the ones I collab with. If you, I'm not going to make you look bad. I'm just going to it's going to be real. I'm going to ask you questions. Some questions might be a little bit hard just because I feel like I need answers to them. But I'm not going to like scold you or make you feel bad or anything like that. Just things that I feel like need to be answered regarding this issue. But if you want to do it, that's all it is. You're not obligated. You're not going to benefit from it because I don't have like a huge reach, but it's there. The invitation is there regardless. All right.
Probably just background noise right now to someone being dogged on in Valorant. Or you're drawing. You're drawing right now, aren't you? Yeah, I see you. Anyway.
I'm a bad drawer. I can't draw
It's
at
a
all.
very, very shitty situation. To the point it does make Tyga contemplate quitting or taking a long break. And you can't even blame them at all. Now, there is a video up right now where Tyga themselves is talking about the situation. I'll link it in the description. Along with that doc that literally clears Tyga's name of the allegations that was put on them around like 4 years ago or so. Also,
I am going to put up, aside from the links that I've used today for the videos that I'm using, I am going to tag Tyga. Like, I think Tyga has like a Tygaholic channel, which is more of like a fan run one because they always put up the clips from Tyga. So I'll put that up, as well as Next and Nor's channel and this other VTuber I'll kind of bring up a little bit, which I don't know if it's in. I think it's towards the end of this video they start talking about her, but she runs into the same kind of problem that Tyga does regarding content. And we'll talk about it when we get there.
some people have suggested the idea of suing, but there's a slight problem. You would need to know who exactly is doing it. You would then have to dox yourself. And then on top of that, suing might be tricky if they're in another country. And it's expensive.
Well, again, you can't say is a problem. Like it's your livelihood, right? Now let's take, for instance, if Tyga has to like put his real name out there. Sure, your name will be there, but in the end, if you rebrand yourself, like either way, you're gonna have to like get your income back. You're gonna have to fight. Money, sure, but you had a lot of money, so where it all went, I can't say. But all I know is, if you have an open and shut case, especially for a civil suit, you will win that. There's no way you're gonna lose it unless they find shit that nobody knows about, including this guy talking in this video. He may not know a fucking thing about you beyond what we're hearing on the web. And that, again, that's a question I would ask you personally, is like, why aren't you doing this? Like, what is it that could harm you by coming forward outside of just giving your regular name? Like, if you have an open and shut case, if you had a way to regain your brand and your income to some extent, why wouldn't you do that? What is it you're hiding? What is it that you're too afraid that will get out? Just saying.
To this fuck. Also, remember when I previously said that the person that mass reported Tyga might have other targets? Well, they have been trying to do the same with Shy Lily. Now, here's the thing. This could set a potential precedent that people can just get away with this shit. And no, I'm not saying this is the first time that this has happened on YouTube, but this person is openly admitting to abusing YouTube's report system and even openly.
He's gone now. I said that earlier. This guy, he admitted that, and now he's toast.
Said what channel they were falsely reporting.
Are you fucking dumb?
Hello, YouTube, wake up.
Like, I know right now YouTube's cracking down a lot on false reporting, and somebody tried to do, like, see, the problem is like, with YouTube channels, you get 3 strikes, and then you no longer can have a channel. And so, and usually it's like copyright stuff. So one of the things that people say is, whenever you complain about someone using your material, right? So they'll come and they'll say, I didn't give you permission to use this, take it down or edit it out. Okay, that's fair. But when you copy strike somebody, it takes away one of your 3 warnings. And so it does a lot more damage. And it takes a while to get that strike to come off. So I've seen people who are like, it's kind of fucked up. I was using this, I was doing a reaction to it. You could have just asked me to take it out or edit it. Instead, you just struck me with a copyright, which YouTube did. And now I'm kind of fucked. So, again, the mass reporting or whatever, Tiger was taken down because there was sexually explicit material. Well, the guy that Tokyo is about to talk about is threatening Shy Lily with the idea that she's got similar content on her channel, sexually explicit material. So he's threatening her, like, you need to get this down or else, you're going to be hit. And so he's an asshole. This Ventures guy is an asshole. There's no getting around it. Like, he has a vendetta, an axe to grind for whatever reason. But if your content is against the TOS, then you're breaking the rules and you're subject to being banned, suspended, whatever. And Tokyo kind of later on goes and says, well, there's other people doing it. No, it's a bad excuse. It's a very bad excuse. Life is not fair and not everybody gets caught. Okay. Do not ever use the excuse that, well, this person's doing it, so you shouldn't do it to me. That's the dumbest fucking thing you could say. If you know it's against TOS, do not do it. Don't do it because someone else is doing it. That's a bad fucking move.
This is probably a sign to look into this and give Taiga their channel back, because if this could happen to Taiga, this can happen to anybody. Kinda. Maybe not if the person is in an agency and stuff, but any independent individual. Anyway, the best thing we could probably do is at YouTube support on Twitter a bunch of times and spam them, and hope that Taiga get their stuff back. Same with their Twitter account, because this would be a catastrophic end for someone's career.
All right. So yeah, that's pretty much all I really got to just say on that. Again, I just got to reiterate, sure, it'd be nice if Tiger get his brand back and stuff and not be kicked off and all this other shit. But if it's just because of the YouTube stuff, like, so basically if whatever sexually explicit stuff was on there, I can't say why he got banned off Twitter or anything else, like, or TikTok. Like, I don't know if he had stuff on there as well. Like, I think that's something that I need to dive deeper into to figure out what happened there. But from everything I heard about the YouTube channel, it has something to do with the sexually explicit material. Even if that guy was mass reporting for the hell of it, if they felt that Tiger was breaking the rules, they're in their right to ban him. And unfortunately, whenever you're a hot topic with what's going on, so like if you're being attached to like other shit, so let's go back to Nux's, the alleged implication of PDF. Whenever you're kind of like in that sphere of like in the controversy shit, and then all of a sudden people are saying, well, look what's on his channel. Well, you're almost automatically going to get hit one way or the other. Shy Lily might have similar stuff, but if she's not being accused of like serious offenses or isn't mixed up in these deep controversies and stuff like that, like right now with Tyga, he is, that's going to be a problem, right? So she's not going to really run into the buzzsaw as much as he is. Now, since then, since all this came out, this has been like 2 or 3 weeks of this shit going on. I don't know if she's been hit or not. But she shouldn't assume that even if this guy is going around mass reporting, just being an asshole, she shouldn't assume that it's not going to happen just because if he gets banned, it doesn't mean she won't. Like, if she has shit that shouldn't be there on her channel like that, she needs to be wary. Like, somebody else could come along and say, this is fucked up. Can't have this on there. This is, again, we're going back to Lolicon stuff that probably shouldn't be on there. And I don't even know if they deal with Lolicon at all, but the idea is that, again, there's this correlation and connection between that world and VTubers for whatever reason. Probably because of the animations. All right. So into my next video. This one is really puts the fire to a couple of VTubers who took it upon themselves while they're playing Dead by Daylight, which is a big game that's going on right now where you can play either the serial killer, horror, or the victims. Pretty cool game. Played it for a hot second a couple of years ago. But I know I have some friends that are playing it and they really enjoy it. I know Big Bad Wolf plays it. But anyway, these VTubers were playing against some other streamer, a much smaller streamer. And I guess he got the better of them in the game. And so they took it upon themselves to harass him, and they were mad that they lost. And so it started becoming a little bit personal. Now, they do have accents, so I don't know what part of the world they're in, but this kind of shows a little bit of the arrogance of someone who has like a big platform, whether it's Twitch or YouTube or whatever. Clearly, they have a big following. They knew that compared to this other person. And so they went and checked out his channel after they were playing or whatever, and they were talking trash during the game, but they started getting really personal, like, so, oh, yeah, it's just your average white boy. And then they started, like, being a little bit sexist towards him and then crying about him supposedly humping her on screen. Like, they show, Rev kind of dives into it a little bit more than I will, but the VTubers ended up getting banned, at least one of them, the main one. And they started complaining that it wasn't fair and that the guy streamer was taking everything out of context, but then people were providing video proof that he was telling the truth and really outing these VTubers as liars. And because they happen to be, I'm guessing, female, just judging by voice, there is one male voice in there. But because they're female, they thought they can get away with being sexist and racist to a white guy. And I'm kind of glad that Twitch took it seriously enough to say, yeah, you can't do this. And even though I think the VTuber was taken off the ban a couple days later instead of the 7-day ban, which is unfortunate because, again, like, no consistency there with Twitch on that stuff. But at least they were taking it serious, and at least now people like Rev are bringing this up. I'm talking about it here because it's important to make sure that we're pointing out when people do stupid shit and contradict themselves, because these VTubers are really trying to play the victim. And then even when they were in Twitter or whatever, they were making comments like, oh, I was triggered with my trauma. I was like, get the fuck up. No way. You're not going there with that. Fuck that. You don't get to go play that card when you're blatantly being racist and sexist to a dude because you lost a game. You don't get to do that. I've seen some chicks who, just regular chicks, not even like VTubers, they play games and stream and they say a lot of crude shit. I saw one a while back where the girl was playing a first person, I think it was like Fortnite or something, or maybe it's Call of Duty, but she's playing and the person she's playing with isn't really speaking. They have headphones and mics, but they're not speaking, they're just playing. And she just started kind of like ripping into the person, saying like, what is this person even doing? They're not even talking, like just making really derogatory statements at this person that she's playing with. And the guy's like, maybe it's because I don't want to talk to your stupid ass. So then they went to like a little bit of back and forth, and she started crying wolf and saying that this dude was being a sexist pig and he was a nasty guy, but she's the one who instigated the whole fucking thing. Like, it's like, you want to poke at somebody, and then when they fire back at you, you want to play victim. That's not how this works. It's not how it fucking works. So here's a little video. I edited a little bit. Again, you'll see the link if you want to watch the full video on this, but Rev breaks it down to what happened here with these couple of VTubers and this guy.
So our story begins with a VTuber named Bub. This is a Twitch partner who was recently banned on Twitch for the first time in her career. She was banned on August 10th, a week ago from now. And when she was banned on the 10th, she immediately started launching a defense, where she made several tweets like this stating, "I got banned on Twitch for 7 days for things I did not do. A small Dead by Daylight creator got very hostile towards me and my friends who played against him, and he nitpicked lines and made it all that I said it. I'm with my family right now, so I will appeal and get more into this later." And she makes this following reply saying, "As soon as the game was over, me and my friends moved on, but this person kept talking about me and making things up. I don't understand why I'm being punished for something where I am not in the wrong. This feels very wrong and unfair at Twitch support. I will be appealing with my POV tomorrow." So she's painting this picture that she was a victim of harassment. She did nothing wrong. She is being banned for the actions of someone else, an apparently very hostile person in the Dead by Daylight community. Well, as it turns out, that attempt to reach out to Twitch support was successful, because only 2 days after being banned, she was unbanned on Twitch, not even serving the full 7 days that she was originally facing. However, people would say, wait a second, something about this situation is just not adding up, and we need to see the other side of the story because something's not right. Now, if you look at her tweet that she made in defense of her ban, she now has a community note attached to it citing this tweet right here, where this individual paints a very different picture, sharing a clip from that stream in particular. They say, "You deserve to be banned. You and Anton Desu are both Twitch partners, and you, along with your friends, shamed a streamer with 700 followers because you lost a match of Dead by Daylight. You also pulled up his stream while live and all harassed him in his chat. Pathetic." So obviously we have two completely different stories. We have Bub's side, where she's saying that she was harassed and did nothing wrong and was unfairly banned. And then here's another perspective where this person is using this clip to claim that she and her friends, Bub and her friends, were actually the aggressors and were doing a lot of pretty awful things by the sounds of it. Now, you see this mention of another person here, Anton Desu here, this VTuber named Ann. They'll play a big role in this situation because they were one of the people in the stream. You can see their avatar down here will light up when she's talking, and listen to her because she does a lot of the talking in the clip. And let's give this minute or so long clip a listen because it'll be very telling about what the true narrative of this situation is.
4K hours and they're streaming this gameplay, bro. I'm so sure nobody is gonna get entertained by this shit.
They're a streamer?
Yep.
I'ma go annoy them. Of course he's a white man.
I wanna see the chat. I wanna see the chat. Hold on, let's see. Why are we being so sad?
I did not hump anyone this match.
Why you sit on
I'm gonna put
single
the vote up. You can
gen?
check it yourself. Well, you sit on single gen. There were 3 gens left on the map. 1 gen was 99. The sheer amount of viewers and streaming and you getting like this, man. I did not hump a.
Besides, there's no reason we can't be civil.
Right?
Single person. Can you link the clip where I humped? Link it.
I'm gonna close their tab. It's not fun. This guy is whining like a little bitch and does not want to admit anything they're doing.
That's small dick behavior. It's okay, it happens. That's why you only have 18 viewers.
They sound like victims, don't they?
Yeah, true. It's two partnered streamers in a single chat. It's too much for him to handle, unfortunately.
You open his stream, the first...
A fucking arrogance. Now, this is the problem that I have, right? Even if these people had served like a 7-day ban, it's not long enough. That's cheese. That's like ridiculous. That's not even a penalty. If I was running Twitch, dude, anybody that did shit like this, like these 2 dopes or 3 dopes, how many of them there are, you would get a minimum of 3 months banned. Minimum. The fact that Twitch is full of a bunch of pussies that will not fucking actually do anything definitive with cyberbullies and internet bullies like this is embarrassing. It's fucking embarrassing.
You say like, oh, of course it's a white guy. I'm like,
Dumbo fucking looking white man.
oh boy.
Like, it wasn't racist. I just
fucking ain't.
You know, he looks
Again, it's
very...
another fucking dope. It has no idea what the fucking definition of racism is. This fucking idiots.
privileged.
Idiots.
And he uses the way he talks tells a lot about how much privilege he has. Pre-pubescent white boy.
Yeah.
I said that his penis is very small.
So as a part of her original thread on the 10th where she tried to defend herself against this ban, she mentioned this. So she was trying to say that the person in question here claimed that Bub and her friends said these things. Well, if you're playing like a bingo card here, it's pretty much a blackout. She and her friends pretty much said all of this. And you can already see this kind of mounting defense that Bub is making where she's trying to say, I didn't say all of these things. It was other people saying these things. And that is true. A lot of the things that we heard in that clip were actually from Anne. Now, Bub said some disparaging things and agreed with disparaging things, but Anne did most of the talking and said the worst of the things, like the comments about his race and also the view shaming and all that stuff. But here's the problem. It's Bub's stream. She is responsible for shutting down that stuff if she doesn't like what she's hearing.
And see, you hear that? Rev's right. It was on Bub's stream. Just like when Nux was on Moist Critical stream when they were doing it. It was still Charlie's responsibility to shut that shit down. It's the same thing. Bub is responsible for people acting like stupid asses on her stream, even though she was acting like a stupid ass too. Just like Moist is responsible for what Nux did on his stream.
From the other people on her stream. And on top of that, she agreed with some of the points that were being made. She agreed in particular with the view shaming. So it makes her look pretty bad. And also the reason so many people on social media are focusing on Bub is because she's the one yapping so much about this. And she's the one caught in a million lies right now. So if we go back to her original message here, she is painting a completely unfair picture of what happened. She tried to paint herself as the victim and the other streamer as the aggressor. And that is not the case. Looking at that clip alone, we know that that is not the case. And she tries to say that she was just trying to move on. No, it seems like they were antagonizing the whole thing. And on top of that, you might have remembered when you were listening to that clip, there were several mentions of humping. And what they're referring to is this clip right here, where we can see the perspectives where the streamer is getting called out didn't do anything that this group was trying to accuse him of.
And then you do that.
What?
And then you hump me, okay.
What?
There we go. You're dead. Roses are red, my face. What the fuck? Only happens when I see you. Oh, great.
Now, going back to that original thread from August 10th, she goes on further and makes even more ridiculous claims like this right here. So Bub says, I would like to also say that this person kept encouraging their audience to come over to my stream to report me and making allegations that I sent an army from my stream to his chat, which is a lie. The only people who came to his chat was Zim, Ann, and then after 2 minutes, myself. Also kind of funny that this person suddenly is hiding their VODs and privating them and subs, and only surely they have nothing to hide in this VOD. Why would they make VODs private otherwise? Last thing, though this is wrongful ban from that person, I don't support or encourage people Going after the person that got me banned, yeah, it's upsetting, but I don't want you guys hunting them down or wish them death threat. This will be resolved. If not, we will meet again in 7 days. So there's two major claims here that once again are easily debunked. So starting off on the top here, she's claiming,
I think she needs the privilege of proper grammar for one. Like, if you're busting on people for privilege, man, you need to fucking be able to type and speak the English language a little bit better than what you're doing.
That only the people from her stream, the people on the actual stream itself, her and her friends, were the only ones going into the streamer's chat to talk with him, which already is an issue. You're already going in there to cause issues. But on top of that, we know you're lying because here's the chat logs right here saying, sorry, we didn't mean to bring more viewers over. You clearly aren't worth it. Become a better person. So not only are they having this incredibly narcissistic comment here, but it's also implying in her own words that she brought more than just her and her friends from the actual stream. It sounds like viewers came over too. So she's caught in yet another lie and also just another terrible look for her. And on top of that, you would see Nap Nide. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. That is the streamer in question. We have not heard anything from him up until this point. However, on August 10th, he did make a reply. This was kind of buried at the time, but now people know who he is, and now people are paying attention to his message, where he claims basically everything that we just talked about, that the narrative was completely wrong as presented by Bub, and also that there was other further comments, like someone saying that he should be shot, among other things. And on top of that, he says down here, point blank, that the VOD and his POV, everything is available. So any claims otherwise are just flat out lies. He has nothing to hide. And looking at everything that I can see, this guy has nothing to hide. This narrative has been completely made up by Bub and her friends. Now, this was the moment a couple days ago when that clip was released on the 15th. That's when the narrative shifts. The whole thing went 180 on Bub and her friends, where now these are the comments underneath her original post complaining about being banned on Twitch. You can see everyone's seeing right through all this nonsense. And eventually, on that same day that the clip came out, Bub would make this statement saying, "I'll be taking a few days off. I am not a drama frog, but certain people love milking things. Believe what you want to believe. I will not stop you, but there's always the other side of the coin. I am sorry to whoever my actions caused harm, even though it wasn't meant with hostility." Now you can see the true disingenuous nature of this entire thing, only saying this right after getting exposed for lying, and also they locked the replies so no one could respond in the replies at least. And on top of that, she's trying to say there's always the other side of the coin. Well, that's the heart of the issue. You showed your side and your side alone, and you painted this narrative that you were the victim, completely innocent in the situation. But then when we saw the other side of the coin, we now know that you were lying about a lot of things. And also you can see this got hit with another note as well, where they're saying she's trying to downplay the harassment and racist remarks that she and her friends had made during that stream. And that's definitely the truth. I mean, why else would she be taking a break at this time? It's obvious.
Yep. So there you go. And he's right. They're trying to downplay it. They're trying to do damage control, but you know, the grift is always out there. And so when people do keep talking about it, it's because they want to make sure that you are getting the message. Because you're not going to sidestep it. No one's going to let you off the hook. You're guilty of racism and sexism. You got caught, and now you got to reap what you sow. Straight up. You acted like a fool. Got to deal with it. So, yeah, so there you go. That's basically the VTuber world drama that's going on right now. I thought that it'd be kind of nice to jump into it. Like, people are like, well, why do you want to talk about it? Well, I don't know much about the VTuber world, but, you know, human nature and human interactions always interest me. And some of the drama sometimes, I really was kind of surprised at just how much drama is out there with VTubers right now, but it's a big thing, apparently. And it's interesting. I think there's quite a few VTubers that kind of avoid a lot of this bullshit, but I could be wrong. You know, I wouldn't know. But it's an interesting culture, the VTubering world. And so take all the nonsense, like the drama out of it, and I think it's a very kind of cool way for them to interact with their audiences in general. But you can see behind them all, they're still just people, and they still do some shady fucking shit. They still can be assholes and, you know, douchebags, as we've seen. But, you know, at the same time, there's other people that are very nice that become victims, even behind the avatars. Yeah, so it's interesting. Didn't really want to do this, but I didn't want to drag this out too much with anybody else. I just wanted to kind of put it out there. Had a little bit of free time and wanted to do another quick video on this, just to kind of let you peer into the world of VTubing a little bit. And yeah, man. So coming up this week, I have Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Mr. Tony the Dead and I are continuing our weekly segment called The Ghouls of Midnight, where we take a movie and we alternate between our channels, where he'll pick one movie for us to look at and review, and then I'll pick one, and we'll just keep going. My pick this week will be 1988's The Kiss, starring Joanna Pacula and Meredith Salinger. It's a great horror film. Still holds up in my opinion, so we'll break that down and get his opinion on it. I don't know. I think he said he saw it once, but maybe don't remember it, but we'll see how it goes. Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern, Mr. Tony the Dead, Anthony Jordan, I'm trying to think. It's just me, Kevin Lambert from the Entertainment Headquarters, maybe Crypt, I think will be there. He's kind of going through some health issues right now, so we're hoping the best for him right now from Metalomania. We're hoping to do the Poltergeist franchise review. This is something called Into the Darkness with the Entertainment Headquarters with Kevin Lambert. That's his channel. He does it once every few weeks or whatever. And we just get in there and we talked about, you know, the Pumpkinhead series and Evil Dead series. So we've done a few of those already. And we're going to be doing Poltergeist this week. Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, I will be sitting down with a panel of people, guests, collaborators, and we're going to review Brotherhood of the Wolf, one of my all-time favorite movies. And then Saturday, Mr. Lambert and I will be joining forces again, hopefully at 1 p.m. Eastern. I have to double-check the time with him on that. For Cinemax Synergy, we were going to be reviewing Billy Jack, old 70s movie. So a lot of stuff coming up this week. I got more shit that I'm trying to schedule and get out there. I want to do a review with Dan Miller on Alien vs. Predator Requiem. I think it's a very interesting topic and movie to talk about. It's really hated by most. In fact, I think Dan's probably going to have a lot of more negative things to say, which is fine. Like, that's sort of what the whole debate and review is going to be about, is like why it's so polarizing. And he has a lot of great points. He's a smart guy, and we call him the Professor. So I'm hoping to set up a review with him next week for that. And I got some other things in the brewing as well. Anyway, hit the like button, subscribe, check out those links and those channels if you want. And I'll see you here next time on the Metal Time Radio podcast. Enjoy the rest of your fucking day.
Just before you die.